Thomas, first of all, then you've actually had the luxury of being available for this fourth international. Obviously, you didn't particularly want to leave Exeter, but I guess this is one of the upsides.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's been frustrating in the past when I've had to miss out on one of these games and training weeks, but to be here now and being able to take part in every training was a massive pull for me to come back. And yeah, it's an exciting game to be available for.
Absolutely. You've had a few goes at them in the past personally. How do you look forward to facing up to New Zealand?
You always want to challenge yourself against the best, don't you? And they've always been up there since I was a kid as the best team. And yeah, it'll be exciting to have a crowd in the Millennium, the Hacker, the whole experience. And hopefully we can do the Jersey proud and put on a show for the people that come and watch.
How's the whole crowd thing been for you so far this season in front of the Ospreys crowds? Even that must have made quite a difference from last season.
Yeah, it's nice to have people there and about. Obviously, the Ospreys haven't had the best kickoff times to get the biggest crowds, but no, just to have any crowd is what you play the game for. You don't play to be in empty stadiums. You play for the spectacle, and it gives you that extra 5% when you're blowing hard and you hear the roar in it, and it gives you that 5% you need sometimes.
Well, you'll certainly need as many extra percent as you can get because New Zealand been going pretty strongly this year. How do you assess their form over the Rugby Championship?
Yeah, they've always played good rugby, don't they? The depth they've got out there and the brand they play is always exciting. And for us, it's more thinking about how we can put our game on them. And we've been developing it for a long time now with Wayne, since Wayne and Steve came in, and we've had more time to gel. Yeah, there was a few boys missing, but that gives other boys opportunities, and hopefully we can really put our idea onto the way we play.
Is there a psychological thing for Wales against New Zealand, though, given that Wales haven't beaten them in any of our lifetimes, even me?
No, I don't think so. People used to say that about Australia, and then we beat them twice in a year. So I don't think was that banana skin or that voodoo over it. They're a tough team, and you have to perform to the best of your ability to be in with the game, and that's all you can do, and that's what we aim to do on Saturday.
And how do you assess them in your particular area of the game in the front row, and who do you expect to be up against?
Well, everyone always talks about their running rugby and all that, but it's built on their set piece, and whoever plays there, they're all good set piece operators. And as a tight head, you've got to hold your part of the bargain up and nullify their set piece and try and get on top on your side. But no, as I said, they're one of the top teams in the world. And as a front row, they're still one of the top scrums in the world. They don't have they're not renowned for the power game as much as South Africa, but they've got the personnel and the players to do it. So for me, I've got to be on the top of my game if I'm selected, and whoever takes the picks in that front row is going to have a tough day, and they're going to have to find their best form to take them on.
So hope you do. Thank you, Thomas.
Cheers.
Hi, Tom. Will here. How's it going? Yeah, just picking up on what you said about moving initially to Wales, because you never played there before. You're not in control of the rules and regs around it, but do you expect that other guys in your situation might follow over the next few years, those that don't have 60 caps?
I don't know. It's for every individual basis, isn't it? What suits them as a player and their families and at their points in their career. For me, it was a good time to move back. The wife's from Cardiff, so she was happy to come back, and it meant I got more time in camp, more time to develop here, and I got a new club for change of scenery and to develop my game on that side. So for me, it was a no-brainer, but everyone's got a different opinion, you know. Some boys with 60 caps might come back, some might not. Some who have a few caps, it might not make sense to them. But if you want to play for Wales, you haven't got 60 caps, then when your contract's up, it's in your hands to make that decision. So
now that you're on the other side of the fence, do you find it frustrating that you're going into this game with all those guys unavailable? Obviously, you prefer to have everyone fit and raring to go. Is it annoying that gets in the way of these big matches?
I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It's the rules, and they knew that from the start. It's exciting for the boys who get to wear the jersey. You know, some boys who would normally start might not be there, but all that gives us is an opportunity. And for the boys that get to play against the All Blacks, that's a great game to be involved in. And if you play in England, you know you sacrifice at least one game in the autumn, and that's the choice you make. But for people that play in Wales, this is the carrot. This is the game you get to be involved in that it wouldn't be otherwise. So I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It's frustrating maybe training numbers wise for in the week and from non-23, but for the boys that actually take the field, it's a great opportunity.
Cool. I'll let the others go. Thanks, Tom.
Nice.
Hi, Tom. And just because of the unavailabilities that Will touched on there, a lot of people outside the camp are viewing this as a bit of a mountain to climb for the squad. Are you comfortable with having that sort of underdog tag and going into the game with that?
Yeah, we're comfortable as a nation. We've always had it, but it's not something we want. We're happy to be the favourites as well going into games, and that's what you thrive to be as a team when you develop. But no, it doesn't affect us what people say in the media or people with the public say and all that. It's the belief we've got in the squad, and we've had a lot of time together since Wayne's come in. The squad's developed, the depth's developed, and it's a great opportunity for us to go and show. Like it's going to be a tough game. It's always going to be a tough test match against them, but you want to be involved in those tough games, especially with the eye for 2 years in the World Cup and stuff. These are the games we need to play and need to be involved in to develop our game and see where we are.
Yeah, and for as long as I guess you've been involved in the squad, you've got a history of proving people are wrong. Only got to look at the Six Nations earlier this year for that.
Yeah, 100%. But it's not what drives us is to prove people wrong. What drives us is to fulfill our potential, or at least show our identity of what we're trying to be as a team on the pitch, and that's all we can strive as a group. And it's a tight group, and whoever takes the pitch will have the backing of the other boys, and it's their job to represent the shirt and the brand as much as we can.
There's always a lot of talk about this fourth autumn test match. It gets played outside the window. A lot of people see it as a sort of financial necessity, especially with everything that's gone on in the last few years with the money that it generates. Do you ever think about that, or does that come into your thinking as a player, or do you just see it as another game?
A test match. I mean, you get to play an extra test match a year. How can that be a negative?
Sorry, yeah, test match, yeah.
It can't be a negative. It's another test. It's another opportunity to represent your country, to put on that shirt and give you all, and that's what you play the game for. That's the pinnacle. And yeah, everyone can say, oh, it's outside the window and that, but it's a chance to play the All Blacks in a packed Millennium Stadium. Like, no one would turn that. You wouldn't turn that down, would you?
Absolutely not.
It's like no one would. It's a great opportunity, and it's what you play the game for. So the fact that we get to play 4 test matches instead of 3 is, I think, is great.
Cheers, Tom. All the best.
Nice.
Hi, Thomas. Alex here. Is facing the All Blacks in a sold-out crowd in Cardiff something that a game that you never thought might happen to you, given the background and your rugby progression?
I know. Yeah, if at 23 now, I never even dreamt of it, but I've had the privilege to do it once now in the Millennium Stadium and a few times down New Zealand, and it's just, yeah. I'm still have to pinch myself of my rugby journey, but I feel now I've come back to Wales. Maybe I'm a bit further along in my career. I'm a bit more experienced, and I've had to change my attitude. I'm not that young kid who's on the rise. I've got to try and drive the standards a bit more and be a bit more of a leader in the squad. So yeah, I never thought I'd be involved in these games when I was then, but now I'm excited to be.
And how have you found maybe adapting to that role? It's different, the one you talked about there, being a bit more senior. Is this something that comes naturally to you?
I'm never going to be a big talker or a shouter, but no, I enjoy it. I enjoy being able to help the young kids at Ospreys or the academy and help them, put my knowledge on them, and they can talk to me. And no, it's come at a good point in my career, and I think it's helping me keep honest and develop myself and drive me to be a better player as well, which is what we all strive to be.
Just lastly, when you signed for the Ospreys, you talked about how excited you were about getting better and adding to your game, improving. Do the All Blacks front row sort of show that? They're the classic example that, ball playing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone talks about that part of their game, but they're also very good scrummagers and set piece foremost, and that's why they get picked. So, yeah, you've got to keep developing your game in modern rugby. You can't just be a set piece forward, and the Southern Hemisphere props probably lead the way in that with Tongan Thor and them at the fore. But there's no reason why the way Steve and Wayne want to play, it was opportunities for us to get our hands on the ball and influence it as well. So that's something I've got to work on. It's maybe not something that was natural to me growing up, but it's something I'm excited to try and work on.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
All right.
Hi, Tom. Neil here. Having faced a hacker before, can you take us into those moments when you were doing so? What goes through your head, etc. And would you be up for a 2008 style standoff if the chance arose?
Oh, you know, growing up watching the hacker, it's a spectacle of rugby, isn't it? It's a tradition that you watch as a kid, and to be able to face it gets the hair standing on your arms, and it's great, but it also gets you pumped as well as them. When you face it, it's a class thing to experience, and as I said, in the stadium with the crowds, it's going to be heightened again. So, it's exciting.
And a standoff? How about that?
So I'll leave that to the leaders to decide how they want to do it. But whatever puts our minds to start the game as best as possible. To be honest, whatever focuses us to be ready for that whistle and to put our game on them.